In the Hunt is an arcade shoot-'em-up from 1993. Developed by Irem, In the Hunt is one of the few games Irem made before ceasing game development the year after. Currently, the game is known as Metal Slug's older sibling due to the people behind it. The idea was created by Kazuma Kujo and developed by the same people that would form the Nazca Corporation. Aside from that, In the Hunt also has an identical graphical style, direct gameplay, and a bizarre narrative. The game is set in the post-apocalyptic world of 2023. A group called the Dark Anarchy Society wants to rule the world, but their goal is hampered by gacha games. Aware that they can compete against dopaminergic entities, the DAS performs some mental gymnastics. They decided to push us back to the Old Testament by flooding the world. For the DAS, less people means less gacha gamers, which means less gacha games. Freaking psychopaths. Afflicted by the loss of 2D waifus, the United Nations finally acts to take down the DAS. You play as Mike Hunt, an Azure Lane player with a concerning enthusiasm for submarine units. You are tasked with destroying the DAS and returning gacha games to its former glory. Ignoring my creative liberties, In the Hunt is a simple game. You shoot things and avoid getting shot by things. A reliable gameplay loop backed by easy controls and clear mechanics. But under its simplicity is a challenging game with flaws. Enemy count and position plus their numerous bullets make for a suffocating experience. Backed by your slow movement speed, there's a low chance for survival. It makes you feel claustrophobic rather than engaged. Let me show you how much cramped space you get to maximize in the name of desperate survival. If I were to summarize my thoughts about In the Hunt, it's creative intentions marred by execution. Creativity was given to the developers thanks to their thematic choice, their central point. However, despite the freedoms it allotted, things didn't translate well in-game. The central point of this game is that you are a sub. Everything about the game revolves on this concept. And to be fair, it was a unique approach at the time. For starters, Submarine subverted the space or plane game that most shoot-'em-ups were. It allowed a grounded approach at least on the environment and stage design. And if anything, it makes the game stand out. While stages required water, they weren't all water. There is also a lack of water, helping reduce the monotony of stages. And because bodies of water tend to widen in range, it allowed for verticality in the stage design. In lieu of such choices, the game forgoes the usual auto-scrolling mechanic, instead giving players control of their own progress. Like most shooters, you'll be using your vehicle to combat enemies. In the Hunt gives the player two types of weapons. One that shoots forward and one that shoots upward. This simple variety grants the player enough versatility when dealing with the numerous enemies that will flood the screen. And as expected, these enemies are out to get you. There's a good amount of variety in the enemy design, both aquatic and non-aquatic. And let me stress that it's great to see that enemies aren't simply underwater. It makes for memorable engagements, especially with boss fights that definitely take advantage of the multiple available biospheres. As hinted earlier, despite the praises I give the game, I don't think it executes its ideas properly. Having a submarine as your vehicle requires bodies of water for stages. This is obvious. But it shouldn't inconvenience the player. Certain stages have smaller bodies of water, limiting the area the player can traverse. This makes stages notable, but for unsought reasons. Movement becomes hard, making players more vulnerable, and any death they get at this point feels cheap. Is it balanced out by stages filled with water? Nope. Depending on the enemy you're fighting, you'll encounter some unwanted challenges. With boss fights, they make you deal with small spots to survive in. While bosses being gigantic are expected, they can limit your maneuverability to a fault. Instead of a cool charming battle, you're more focused on not dying. What about common enemies? Common enemies crowd the levels. They're placed in awkward spots as if they're there for the sake of being there. Some may be well thought out obstacles, but most are swarms that you simply have to push through. And if it's not the enemies you're dealing with, it's their projectiles. A few can be destroyed, but there's no efficient way for the player to deal with them. Your weapons are direct but not as effective since each weapon addresses a single direction. There's no proper screen clear or any method to extend your survivability. The movement speed is slow. Sure, it makes sense since we're underwater, but come on, this is to some extent a sci-fi game. The developers could have easily bullshitted why your submarine can drift underwater or whatever. There's also a ticking time limit per stage because fuck you, I guess. In the Hunt's simplicity is its best factor. Despite my concerns, it has a good foundation and provides a clear objective in its gameplay. It has a unique theme and does a lot of things with it that makes it a breath of fresh air. But as I've mentioned, each strong point came with a concern, and these concerns are, in my eyes, substantial enough to make the game feel disjointed. To be clear, I don't think the game is bad or unplayable. If anything, it's still an okay experience. However, I'd be lying to you if I said that these things never bothered me. Ultimately, I'm convinced that In the Hunt is not for me. If you're in a similar boat, I highly suggest moving on and playing another game. But if you're someone that enjoys a slower and more direct experience, then please give this game a try. Maybe you'll see something that I'm failing to come across. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hi there! If you like the content, consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you want to hear my thoughts, follow me on Twitter at KenAthomos. Link is in the description. Take care and stay safe always.